Hello everyone. Before we get started, make sure to like and subscribe, and leave a comment saying where you're from and when you watched. That way, YouTube will continue to show you stories like this. Now, let's get started. Asterisk, since the night. I returned to the hospital, the place without cameras. I began to feel something inside me changing. I was no longer myself. Every time I looked in the mirror, I saw something off. Very small at first, but clear. Sometimes the eyes and the reflection would linger on me for just a moment too long. Sometimes I'd turn away, yet the reflection stayed for a heartbeat. Sometimes I saw myself smiling, even though I wasn, single quotes. At first, I thought it was just exhaustion, stress, psychological trauma after all my encounters with it. But those little details began to grow. One night, while brushing my teeth, I saw in the mirror the ceiling behind me cracked open. A dangling hand lowered itself, just like in the hospital. I spun around, nothing. But when I looked back at the mirror, my reflection was still staring up at the ceiling, out of sync with me. I ran out of the bathroom. I didn't dare go back. I didn't dare smash the mirrors, if doing so would release whatever was trapped inside. I called Claire, the former nurse who had sent me Dr. Andrew Turner's file. I needed someone who had also seen it through a mirror. She answered, her voice barely more than a whisper. Don't let it take your gaze. The mirror is a door, the other side of the room. It doesn't reflect, it records. She told me that after she quit, she covered every mirror in her home each night. It only needs one look, one meeting of the eyes. That's enough to tear the space open. I asked, so what if I've already seen it in the mirror? Silence. Then she hung up. I lived in a constant state of fear. I removed every mirror from my home, even my phone screen, my computer monitor. I taped over the rearview mirror in my car. But mirrors aren't just objects. Whenever I passed a shop window, I saw my reflection turn to look at me. Whenever I looked into water, I saw my own face cracked like porcelain about to shatter. I began to lose track of time. I didn't know when I'd fallen asleep. Sometimes I'd wake up in the bathroom, razor in hand, with no memory of how I got there. I installed security cameras around my home, like a paranoid man chasing ghosts. I needed to know, was I doing things without knowing it? The first night, I replayed the living room footage. At 2:31 a.m., I walked out of my bedroom. The strange thing was Jai was also still asleep on the couch. There were two of me. The other me walked straight to the living room mirror. One I had removed, leaving only the empty frame. He stood in front of the empty frame and smiled. A crooked, toothless, soulless smile. Then he vanished, never came back. I was stunned. That video, I couldn't save it. The file deleted itself after 10 minutes, as if it refused to allow any visual evidence to exist longer than memory. Remembered a line from Andrew Turner's file. The mirror is where we see what the real world will not allow us to see. I went to the city library where the hospital's pre-2000 records were stored. I found a copy of an internal medical board ruling against Turner. The file stated that he had once researched near-death experiences and the separation of the soul from the body through reflection. One excerpt read, Dr. Turner believed that if the gaze was strong enough when looking directly at oneself, could create a rift between reality and the self in the mirror. The first person to try lost control of his mind, and the shadow in the mirror replaced him. I sat there in silence, sweat dripping, heart pounding. I thought about the video. The first night in the operating room, the hand reaching from the ceiling dot, and I understood. The shadow I had seen wasn't a ghost. It was a version of me twisted living in the reflective world, now crossing over, and it wanted to replace me. That night, I locked every door, placed cameras in every corner. I sat facing the only mirror I had left, a small bathroom mirror covered with a cloth. I pulled the cloth away in the mirror. It was me, but my eyes were slightly misaligned. I slowly raised my right hand. In the mirror, he raised his left. Out of sync, I whispered, "Who are you?" In the mirror, he smiled. His lips no longer moved with mine, and he whispered, clear, as if he were in the room, "I've always been here." I screamed and smashed the mirror, but before the glass shattered completely, I saw one last image, me in the mirror, still there, still standing, still smiling, no glass, no reflection. But those eyes remained inside my mind. I thought I had destroyed it. But something feels wrong. Every time I pass through a glass door, I feel as though I've stepped into someone else's world, and the gaze from behind the glass is no longer mine. Asterisk, please like and subscribe to the channel to listen to the next episode. The mirror is broken, but he's still here.